Every single time I think Disney can't fuck up any more than they already have, they go out of their way to prove me wrong. The latest rumor is a new Lando Calrissian series for the Disney Plus streaming service. And the word is Donald Glover is going to be recast in the part. Of course, Donald Glover played Lando Calrissian in the only Star Wars movie to ever bomb at the box office. So why they would decide or even contemplate taking his version of the character and spinning it off into its own series is beyond me. But this is Disney we're talking about. Firstly, this is just a rumor, and the new model seems to be to leak rumors and see how fans react. This is probably why nothing has come out of Star Wars since The Rise of Skywalker, because all the rumors they leak, no one likes. The only thing coming out of Disney fans were looking forward to was the new Obi-Wan series, which has been indefinitely canceled. Sorry, not canceled. Delayed until 2021 at the earliest, and it may now be a movie instead of a TV series, and Ewan McGregor may or may not still be involved. But back to the show that nobody wants. It's based on a spin-off that nobody wanted and that flopped at the box office. Say what you want about Donald Glover's performance. He's a charismatic guy. I personally think he did the best with what was handed to him. He was just handed a plate of shit. He went from the flamboyant ladies' man in Empire Strikes Back to the guy who fucks feminist robots. I simply don't see a way to salvage this version of the character. And what's more is I don't see why Disney would even bother to try. There were so many potential directions to go with Han Solo and Lando Calrissian backstory that the one they chose and the way they chose to do it ruined them for me and apparently for many Star Wars fans. But Disney's been proving incapable of leaving well enough alone. If there's a dead horse, they'll find a way to beat it. And Lando Calrissian seems to be the latest dead horse. If they stray away from the robot fucking and focused on making him a character that you could believe would lead a series, I could be down with that. Maybe even with Donald Glover as the lead. Throw the guy a couple Twi'leks in the pilot. Everybody thinks Twi'leks are hot. And how cool would it have been to see Lobot pre-lobotomy? There's so much you could do with the character, but so little that they set up in Solo. He's just a guy that hangs out playing cards and making bad bets that we were previously told he wouldn't make, but he did make it because the plot necessitated it. I'm pretty much up for anything if it has good writing. Nothing in the Star Wars universe had good writing. I guess that's my main issue. So when I hear Disney Star Wars is coming out with a new product, I'm not interested because it's Disney Star Wars. And then they want to retell old stories with characters that we're familiar with, characters that are beloved, instead of exploring deeper into the Star Wars universe. I mean, it's a rich universe. And since they tossed out all of the EU, they could harvest any of that and make it whatever they want. And now it seems like George Lucas is back in the fold, and they could take his ideas. I don't know. If I was George Lucas, I wouldn't be back in the fold, though. Fuck those motherfuckers. But honestly, I think this series has about as much likelihood of coming to fruition as that Harvey Weinstein meat puppets show has of coming to fruition. I I can't wait until Kathleen Kennedy leaves Disney and starts making her feminist movies in her own studio, and then we can potentially get at least mediocre Star Wars content from guys like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. But I have to hand it to Disney because they got my attention with this rumor that somehow leaked. They know how to get people talking. They just don't know how to get people talking for the right reasons. They don't know how to get people to care about their products. They only know how to generate hate. They need to step away from that, and they need to focus on making good content. Maybe they are, and maybe that's why nothing's been coming out besides the cartoons, which everybody says they liked. I haven't watched Clone Wars yet. And it looks like we're going to get a new series spinning out of the Clone Wars called The Bad Batch. That could be something worth looking out for. I don't see this Lando show being worth anything, though, and I don't see it happening at all. Hopefully it's just a ploy to keep Star Wars in the public's headspace long enough for them to get their shit together and actually produce something worthwhile. I simply don't think that they have the ability to make something worthwhile, not with the crew that they have established. Hopefully they'll clean house And that includes Donald Glover, because that'll just be a reminder of what they did before, and there's nothing worth salvaging in anything that has come out of Disney. Again, except perhaps the Clone Wars, but that started well before Disney. That was a Lucas project. And now that it does seem Lucas may be working with Disney again, or at least talking to them and providing them with ideas that hopefully they don't completely shit on again like they did with the sequel trilogy, we'll start to see something at least passable like the prequel trilogies. Yeah. Everybody seems to have fond memories of Revenge of the Sith, at least, and there are decent moments in the other two films. Although I'd say Attack of the Clones is probably about as bad as anything Disney made, only in different ways. It's just more boring and sappy, while the sequel trilogy is just shit. But I'm calling it here. There's not going to be a Lando Calrissian series. If that happens, it's better not be starring Donald Glover.
I have spoken.